and welcome back to environment, all ASMR, ASMR. So, as you might have expected, this is a little bit odd of an angle because I have been running short on time, low on motivation, but a strong willingness to create, to get through some of these perilous times together. And I thought it would be best if I could channel that back into this YouTube channel. So I'm on a bike ride, as you might be able to see behind me. I got a new bike. And it's been lovely, but a little bit distracting and whatnot. So that's why I am coming to you on a bike ride. One, because it's part of the story of this video I'm trying to create. And do. It's made it harder for me to, choose when I'm like outside and not, biking or having fun, but like creating. And it's just been hard to navigate, but I think I'm just gonna do this lo-fi and go full steam ahead, because on this bike I brought this binder of just information I've been wanting to go through about where my mind is at and how I can channel the inclusionary part of what I was motivated for with this channel, and environmentalism, and expressing my love of nature and the way I want that to be equitably distributed across, not just my country but the world. But I live in the United States personally, and one thing we've had recently is the big, beautiful bill, which is the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, as you may have heard, his plan to dismantle a bunch of our social safety nets. And what, we should be paying taxes for, ensuring that everybody is taken care of. But I wanted to do it from, I guess, a lens that these cuts to Medicaid, these cuts to environmental programs aren't isolated. They impact every single one of us, and us detaching from our neighbor and not wanting to help them doesn't really do us any good. Their ill will be redistributed to us in a matter of no time. Like, you can't detach yourself from your fellow human. It's just not going to work. It's not a long-term goal. And I find it ironic that the calls for safety to children in our, in the way that this bill will redistribute so much funds to immigration and customs enforcement, it's like to protect our citizens, to protect our kids, and the way that's being made by someone who's on very close terms with a child, like one of the biggest notorious child sex predators of the United States. It's just insane to me. So, I wanted to channel that best with something that is near and dear to my heart, which is biking. And I think that that can be best understood by but one of the cuts of the beautiful bill will be impacting. So, big thanks to Chris Bell of peopleforbikes.org for giving me this first article that I plan to cover. I think I'm getting bit like a motherfucker. You know what? Maybe this is not the plan. Alright. Okay, guys. So I believe this will be a better spot. Because in the last spot, I could feel my jersey getting bit a lot. And I will imagine that is only going to keep happening because it is around dusk at this point in my bike ride. So there's nothing you can do about bugs. I guess I'm glad that they can feed off of me and I will go back into the ecosystem, but they can be pretty annoying. So nevertheless, in the big, beautiful bill specifically, I wanted to frame my position in distaste about the bill at the start. So that's kind of what my ramble in the previous spot was about before. So sorry if it didn't make that much sense. But I thought that even with all that is bad in the bill and the cuts that are just broad and defeating, which the current political climate has kind of contributed to some of the, I guess, delay in uploads because of my, I guess, personal, it's hard to say grief, because as a white man of a lot of privilege, it's not my grief to be had, it's just very deafening and a lot to take in of like, where can I insert my voice, especially with the channel that I was fostering before. But I don't think the right thing, and I'm not trying to enable or excuse my decisions, but I'm also trying to give context, I guess. But I know the right thing is not staying silent. So that's why I want to try to revive this channel and not give up on it, but also like explain where I was before and try to insert myself back in with a larger realization of what's going on. Which leads me to the big beautiful bill in this article. By peopleforbikes.org. Which obviously, given my... Also, yeah, I don't know if I was mentioning this before, it's a new, used mic for me. So, for the long timers and the friends that I have following this channel, it's my life update. New mic. But So, Congress drops. I'll use this stick. Congress drops tax benefit for bicycle commuters. Congress drops tax benefit for bicycle commuters. It's written by Chris Bell, the Director of Federal Policy at peopleforbikes.org. So, I know as an environmental channel, using pages is an externality and counterintuitive, but I'm obviously taking this out of the woods with me. I'm going to recycle it, or probably just keep it and use it for my notes, my personal keeping. But obviously I'd go paperless, but I need my phone for recording, so I can't have like notes on my phone. And I just kind of like the organization and the trigger of paper, but also know that it comes at an externality of this beautiful wood that I'm sitting in with the forest. Okay, so here's a picture they used. So yeah, so my context is I love biking. I want more people on bikes, but I don't really live in, like, it's a larger conversation, but I work in the, oh, yeah. So I work, is that a trigger? I work in the restaurant industry, and I commute to work in a car, unfortunately. And I live in an area that is suburban and car-centric, depending on the car, in the United States of America. And I would like more bike infrastructure. I would love to be a bike commuter. Back when I was going to school in the city, that's one thing that really appealed me to the city. But ultimately, cost of living, ethical qualms I had with everything, I opted out of city living. But I would love in the future to not just be biking for sport, even if the sport part of biking is, you might be able to tell by the jersey I'm wearing, is something I love and something I'm enthused about. It isn't necessarily, it's not necessarily what this, I'm not going to get the tax benefit, I commute by car. However, it's something I believe in strongly, and also I experience as someone who bikes for sport and likes to bike on the road, is safety issues in my community and the detriment of having life revolve around a car and have lobbyists in the automotive industry like control each of our lives. And I also grew up as a car enthusiast in a part of the sense, not like a crazy like supercar enthusiast, but I like, there's an automotive magazine based in my town that I used to pick up, and it really fostered like a love for the car when I was growing up, and it was something I had to recontextualize as I matured and kind of have realized it's something I fell out of love with, because not only is design revolving around the car in all of our communities, policing in an unjust way, the way traffic violations target specific marginalized communities and are enforced disproportionately, but also how it's, led so many people to poverty and stripped them from opportunity, despite it being like a semblance, not a semblance, but a symbol of freedom, like the driver's license. Like, growing up, I realized that the reason that is the driver's license is a symbol of freedom is because it's fallen on the hands of all the environmental externalities and like just human rights externalities of how the automobile industry has stripped away the freedom from so many other people. So that's gotten to the point where we are today, where before, despite the automobile industry still having a chokehold on our society and way of life, there was benefits that we had from Congress, that tried to counteract some of the negative structures of the way our political system worked, and now it's full steam ahead with the most cruel reality that you can imagine, is how a lot of people should interpret the big beautiful bill. And I'm not being paid to say that. I have a job in the restaurant industry. It's advertised for me with no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. Is how it's sold to me, of being like a legislation for me. But that's why I tried to include a couple of articles that really, I lost them right now, but kind of go over the harder statistics of exactly what we're losing. But nevertheless, let me read Chris Bell's words. I'll get real up close and personal. And then I think I'll have to go back home instead of reading the rest, unfortunately. But let me get to reading this article and ranting about it by the stream. So, People for Bikes believes everyone, or as I would say, environment, everyone is all. Believes everyone has a right to choose how they get to work and should enjoy the same tax benefits regardless of that choice. So, they did an update at the time I'm recording this in August, but their update was that the One Big Beautiful Bill Act was signed into law by President Trump on July 4th, 2025, officially eliminating the bicycle commuter benefit. So let's read about that. Over the last month, lawmakers in Congress have been working fervorously to find cost savings in the government budget. Why do they need to find cost savings? To give it to the 1%. The 1%, I tell you. So, to find cost savings in the government budget. In doing so, Congress advanced a bill that includes a provision to eliminate the bicycle commuter benefit. The bicycle commuter benefit is a tax benefit that allows employees who bike to work to get a tax-free reimbursement from their employer. Specifically, it allows employers to reduce their federal tax bill by paying and then claiming a business expense on a $20 per month reimbursement to employees for the costs associated with bicycle commuting. A $20 per month reimbursement to employees for the costs associated with bicycle commuting. This provision benefits riders who enjoy cost savings for choosing to bike to work. The benefits are also multimodal. Public transit can be more accessible by riding a bike for the first or last mile of a trip. Driving fare revenue for transit agencies. The tax incentive also benefits bike businesses. More people may buy a bike at their local bike shop or bring their bike in for a tune-up. Riders may also visit a local retailer to purchase a new helmet or new apparel to support their bicycle commuting. Upstream, the sales bump drives demand, increasing revenue for manufacturers and suppliers. In 2009, Congress created the bicycle commuter benefit as a matter of parity with other modes of transportation, since the same benefit already existed for employees who drive their car or take transit to work. The benefit was suspended in the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act until 2026. People for Bikes fought this suspension, with our supporters sending 3,500 letters to members of Congress in all 50 states asking that this benefit be maintained. After the suspension, People for Bikes have strongly advocated for the Bicycle Commuter Act, which would reinstate and expand the benefit. In May 2025, the House of Representatives voted to permanently eliminate the benefit. The bill is now being negotiated by the Senate, and as we saw in the update, this was in May 2025, it has now passed. The bicycle commuter benefit is ultimately about expanding choice. By expanding the list of viable, affordable transportation options for commuters, the benefit gives more people more freedom to choose their preferred method of commuting. People for Bikes believes everyone has a right to choose how they get to work and should enjoy the same tax benefits regardless of that choice. Our federal policy team remains engaged on this issue, and we will work with lawmakers to reinstate this helpful benefit for bike commuters nationwide. If you would like assistance in reaching out to your elected officials to tell them why the bicycle commuter benefit is also important to you and your community, please contact People for Bikes Director of Federal Policy, Chris Bell, at chris@peoplesforbikes.org. So thank you, Chris Bell, for that article. I would have liked to do more, but it is not safe for me as a cyclist right now to get home in the upcoming dark especially without like my own headlight on my bike or like reflective gear, as you can see. But that's like my update for now on the channel. I'm sorry for being away so long, but I wanted to give you, if not a messy video, a video regardless. Soft-spoken, even without my mic, without my tripod, but just on my bike. Lo-fi, as some of you may like, others may not, but just more of a ranty ramble with some triggers, with some whispering, and with some soft-spokenness, and a little stream trickling. Hopefully you can hear it, but that's all. Environment, ASMR is going to be heading out, but much love to all of you. You know, it's going to be hard to get through, but I'm going to try to be there for you along the way.